and welcome back to the Cover 3 podcast here on CBS Sports. That's Tom Fernelli, that's Danny Cannell, that's Bud Elliott. I'm Chip Patterson, coming to you live at youtube.com/Cover3 and everywhere you get your podcasts on demand. Thanks for hanging out. Smash that subscribe, smash that like, and come and join us in the chat, a.k.a. the Cover 3 Tailgate. And this show is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. That's right. It's a Thursday. We got a whole set of Week 4 locks ready for you. And we begin, as we always do, with a recap of the Week 3 results. Last week, it was a 6-3 week for Mr. Bud Elliott. The wins included Oregon -16, the UNLV Kansas under 60, Colorado State under 58.5, Texas Tech -9.5, UMass team total under 20.5, Mississippi State Toledo under 59. The only losses come in with LSU -7, Notre Dame Purdue under 45.5, and Air Force +17. So first of all, with Chip, with Danny, very glad that our very first Latifah of the season does start with a victory. Bud, your card as a whole, what are our big takeaways?
Yeah, so we were really looking for the spot to fade Oregon State. I was pretty down on Oregon State this year, but they had played San Diego State, who I'm also down on. They were playing Purdue, who I'm also down on. I was like, at some point, we got to pick a team that we just don't hate. I don't even know if I love Oregon, right? But I didn't like Oregon State. So that was our fade spot on Oregon State. And luckily, Oregon got right. A little credit to the Beavs, actually. Like, they moved it around a little bit in the first half and looked decent enough to where I'm not going to be fading them this week with Purdue. Just a preview of today's picks. I almost lost that Mississippi State Toledo under, mainly because Mississippi State just kept letting Toledo score, which was not exactly how I saw that playing out. So I'll take 6-3 whenever I can.
At 100%, that brings Bud to 15-12 on the season. I was 6-4, getting in on that Latifah with Oregon -16. The South Carolina first half +4.5, cashed with some room to spare, and same with Indiana -3, Colorado -7. The first half under 24 in Georgia, Kentucky. Northern Iowa +32.5 was a win, and my thanks to the tailgate for getting me that, because I was going to lock it up at 28.5, which I think did not cash, right? Didn't it finish at 31? Was the final margin in that game?
Thought so, yeah.
Yeah, so that shout out to the tailgate for bringing that one home, as we were sitting right there on that Nebraska Northern Iowa game. The over 59 in Kansas State, Arizona did not cash. Arizona is a talented dumb team. Purdue +10.5, the most hilarious loss of the season so far for me. The under 56.5 Texas UTSA, that'll be an L. Thank you, Arch Manning. And the Washington State team total over 24.5 did not cash. Washington finished with 24.
They got that like halfway through the third too.
Yeah, they didn't score for the final 20 minutes of the game. And you know what? It's still 6-4, 16-15 overall. So I'll take it. Danny, it was a 3-7 week. Getting in on Oregon -16. Also, UNLV +9.5. Great spot right there. And Pitt +2 in the backyard brawl. But the losses, LSU -7. The under 45.5 with Notre Dame Purdue. Wisconsin +16.5. Missouri -16. Texas UTSA under 56.5. Arkansas -24. And Florida State -6.5. 3-7 for the week has you at 13-19 for the season. Do we have solo cups? What is the curse reverse? I know on the golf course, it's just continues to follow you. We got to watch this stink off, man. What are we doing?
We got the beard. It's coming in. It's trying to grow. That's hopefully the start of this. You know how you know it's bad? When I go to the golf course yesterday and there's a lot of guys, I hadn't been out there in a while, and they're like, oh, rough year, huh? Rough start. And I don't know who they're talking about, because there's a lot of Giants fans there too, and the Giants suck. Florida State sucks. So I have to clarify, which team are you talking about? It's been brutal. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit gun shy today. I was going through my picks. I'm kind of scared. I'm afraid. You can't be scared. Got to shake this thing off. Just got to turn this wagon around. Let's go.
A lot of Giants fans in Boca?
Yes. A lot of Giants fans.
Yeah.
A lot.
What if you were like, whoa, is it the Giants? No. Is it the Knowles? No. It's your picks.
Exactly. Wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't be wrong.
13-19 for the season. Tom, it was a 3-6 week. The wins were Alabama first half -7.5, which, buddy, I was with you on that one. That was a roller coaster. Indiana -3, and then the Georgia-Kentucky under 45.5. Never a doubt there. Now, loss on UTSA first quarter +9.5. Arizona +7.5 against Kansas State. The under 64.5 in Pitt, West Virginia. Then the Auburn first half team total over 23.5. Hank Brown couldn't get done. And then Nevada +17.5, also a loss. 3-6 for the week. 10-20 for the season. Where are our sights right now?
I'm suffering from PTSD this morning.
Stands for?
I just, the UTSA loss last week, I kind of just was able to flush that from my brain, but I rewatched the Texas game because I wanted to watch Quinn and I wanted to watch Arch, and I was reminded that with up 7-0 late in the first quarter, Texas throws like a backwards lateral that's not caught, is nearly recovered by UTSA, but is then recovered by Texas, which gives them a 3rd and goal at the 19. And they could just let the clock run out and go to the second quarter. But no, they decide they're going to run the play anyway. And UTSA, for whatever reason, decides to play cover 0. So Quinn just takes one step back, throws a quick little slant to the outside, and the receiver just waltzes through the middle of the field with nobody there to even try touching him for a touchdown. And yeah, that one play I feel like has been my entire performance on the Locks Pod so far this season.
Hey, we flush it and we go eyes ahead.
We tried, but I had to go rewatch. I'm dealing with all the emotions again.
Listen, the eye in the sky don't lie, and that's why we have. Hey, I'll tell you what. Some of your favorite podcasts don't have accountability like this. We grade these. We throw them up on the screen. We let you know. You ride with us the whole way. We'll be sure to be right there beside you. So, with week 3 behind us, with week 4 on deck, I say, gentlemen, y'all ready to lock it up?
Let's do it.
Yeah. Since 2005, the under in games between service academies is 40-9-1.
We're picking locks.
Give me an over in this one as well. A little 2-for-1 special.
Don't get these locks.
I was a sicko last week. Y'all were watching the good games. I was live betting the hell out of UL in Kentucky.
My blue plate special 5-star locks are coming.
5-star master lock. Lock it
You
up.
want these locks.
I'm living and dying every point, every cover.
From the locking chair to your eyes and ears, we get started as always with the early birds, that weeknight action. Thursday night in the Rock. Saw that again, I will say 1,000 times, an incredible just spot to go check out. App State hosting South Alabama. App State favored by 7, over under 62.5 around those parts. Anybody got a lock for Thursday night?
I have to figure one out for the Twitter tip, but if you're watching the show live, it pays, because I want you to know before I do put out a Twitter tip later today, I don't like anything in this game.
Did you go back? They kind of stole one in Greenville. ECU jumped out to a big lead. Joey Aguilar kind of got hot late, and then ECU had some field goal kicking issues. So it's, to me, like, my interest here is, can App jump back in and lay the hammer down and play a little bit cleaner to start, because it was not a good start for the Mountaineers last week. Maybe that's Clemson hangover. We'll see, but this one's a conference game. App State wants to win the Sun Belt title, so they need to bring their best here. No lock from me on this one, but certainly a game that's I'll be interested in until it's sleepy time, tea time.
You mean for the first half?
So I'll be very interested for 30 minutes, and then I'll be looking to get ready for the weekend. Like Friday night, which gives us some interesting ones. Friday night in college football, great games, wrecking your date nights across America. We've got Stanford at Syracuse. We've got, of course, Illinois at Nebraska. And we've got Ken Niumatalolo's San Jose State Spartans, 3-0 on the season, heading to Pullman to take on the 3-0 Washington State. I mean, CW on a Friday. What else could you ask for here? Anybody got a lock for Friday?
Tom does. I know Tom does.
Oh,
No, I do.
Okay.
I said I was a little bit gun shy. Let's just let her rip a little bit. I got a 2-for-1 special.
Ooh.
Illinois going to Lincoln. I'll go ahead. I will lay the 7.5 with Nebraska. I will also take the under 43.5. Lower scoring affair. I think both these teams could struggle offensively. Kind of even like the first half under better, but I'll just go total game. But I think Dylan Raiola faces his first bit of adversity. I think this is a second half game that will be close, but I think Nebraska pulls away late. I can't wait to see this game. I think the atmosphere is going to be absolutely bonkers, but I don't know if I trust Luke Altmaier to go on the road. I know he's been solid this year, so I'll go ahead and lay him with Nebraska and take the under.
Do we have 8.5s left?
Not that I see, bud. You got me.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Fight.
I mean, it's a smart move, just fading me.
No, Danny, I've been on this since the beginning of the week. I mean, Mikey's got a list right now of about 17 possibles, and sure enough, like Illinois plus 8.5's on there. I think that this is going to be an incredibly competitive game. Nebraska probably wins. They've got the better quarterback. They've got the home field advantage, but dog of more than a touchdown, low total is a combination that's always going to have me sniffing around. And I think Bielema's a really, really good coach. I think that he will have Illinois in this game late. And so I like being able to get that value right here.
These are like the first two competent tackles Nebraska will have faced all year. On the
like that defensive line, like so that defensive line that feasted on Colorado, it's you're facing something a little bit different with Illinois.
Yeah, for sure. I think Illinois is so much better coached on the offensive line than Colorado is. I mean, I'm not saying that they're great, but yeah, it's not really a fair comparison. You pick the guys never coached.
Shout out Bart Miller. You're better than Colorado's offensive line coach.
Yeah, I do think Illinois will make Nebraska earn it more.
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, that's the expectation for this, this team and this program under this coach. Anything else for Friday night?
I'm not locking it up, but I kind of like San Jose State. Cougs coming off the huge Apple Cup win, and I think that San Jose State team is pretty good.
I know. They're creeping up right now. I'm not ready to throw everything behind them, but new head coach. Maybe an upgrade.
I think so.
Yeah. We'll see. Do you have something here, bud?
Sorry, I got to restart something.
The bud bot's got to get unplugged and plugged back in.
Yeah. No, what did I want to do here with this? Apologies. It's still out there. Give me Washington State over 34.5 team total. I don't know that San Jose's defense is actually all that good. Like maybe it is, but look who they've played so far this year. It's not exactly a murderer's row of competent offenses, right? I mean, Kennesaw can't seem to score against anybody. Air Force can't seem to score anybody. Like Sac State put 24 on them in the opener. I think Washington State can score 5 touchdowns.
Don't hate that there. What's our what's the total on that game? 55.5.
Yeah, 55.5.
Interesting. Any Stanford-Syracuse feels? This will be a game on that 7:30 spot running opposite of Illinois, Nebraska.
Does the Kyle McCord train keep just pulling away? That's what I want to see. Does he keep lighting up opposing defenses, or does Stanford provide an issue for him?
It's not crazy to think that Stanford could hang around here. Like, are we that confident that Syracuse is like a upper mid-level ACC team? I don't know. I'm not particularly.
Yeah, I just have a policy not to bet on Ashton Daniels games because they're unpredictable. You never know what that kid's going to do.
That's fair. Stanford, great opportunity for Stanford, a team who, like what we've got the TCU opener, and that was on the third Friday night of opening weekend.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have anything else we can chew on. So Big notebook game for the Cardinal for sure. Coming up on the other side, we turn our attention to Saturday's slate, starting with that big game in the big house, USC at Michigan, and more next. Back here on the Cover 3 podcast, a reminder that USC at Michigan, of course, is going to be kicking off at 3:30 Eastern on CBS. It's big time at the big house when 11th ranked USC makes a trip to Ann Arbor to face 18th ranked Michigan. We'll get you set for kickoff beginning at 2:30 with college football kickoff, followed by college football today. That's all coming up on Saturday on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus. All right, Danny, you'll be in Ann Arbor providing coverage for CBS Sports and CBS Sports HQ. Do you have a lock here for USC at Michigan?
I did the other day.
Before it dropped below 45?
James, our producer, who I'm doing a hit with after this, I told him, he asked for picks last night, and I gave him 47 under, and he said it's at 44.5.
Yeah.
I switched it unofficially. If you guys want to know where I lean in this game, because I was thinking Michigan. If it's only 5.5, I took USC, but I'm not going to lock it up. I just want to kind of enjoy the game. I don't really have a good feel. There's a part of me, and what I'll probably say when we break this game down is, how can you trust Michigan's offense? Like even the switch to Alex Orji, I still think it'll be lower scoring, but that number is just a little bit too low to go under. So I'm leaning
Not for me.
USC.
Oh, yes. Let's go.
Lock it up. Under 44.5, USC, Michigan.
Ooh. I'm going to go ahead and go to our friends at FanDuel. I'm going to scoop that plus 3.5 first half for Michigan.
Ooh.
USC doesn't really know what the full-on Orgy offense is going to look like, and over the course of the game, maybe they hit some explosives, but maybe Michigan can hang for a little bit. So plus 3.5 first half for Michigan.
Good little number there from our friends at FanDuel Sportsbook, where you can make every moment more. Yeah. Let's see what
I did get this at 46.5 during the show live when they announced that Orji was the starter, but I still like it at 44.5. I don't think Michigan's going to throw all that often. And
they are not.
I don't have a ton of faith in USC right now going on the road against this defense, putting up a ton of points either. So
this is Miller Moss's, like we've talked a lot about Nico going on the road first time, a lot of these other young quarterbacks. I know he's not young, but it is still for his first road environment. That'll be true road environment. So I'll be curious to see how he responds.
So should it be fourth quarter USC -1.5? No, I'm just kidding.
The chat was complaining earlier before the show started how we haven't had any chip fourth quarter plays in a few weeks. I don't know. They're hungry for more.
If there's one thing about USC in the big house I know is they're closers. All right. I generally am on the under train here. If USC wins, then their defense probably is able to keep a one-dimensional Michigan offense in check. And if Michigan wins, then I don't see Michigan blowing USC out of the water. USC's going slower tempo. Tailgate, should I just throw it on the 44.5 too? Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at. I think so.
You asking the tailgate for your locks?
No, we'll see. I'll abstain. All right. Let's keep it rocking. Also at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time is when you can find that Utah at Oklahoma State. Who's got a lock?
Who's playing quarterback?
I have no idea. I mean,
it
recent movement suggests it ain't Cam Rising.
It flipped overnight, but then Thamel reported that Rising has practiced, and the decision will be whether he wears a glove on the hand or not. So, I guess who do you trust on this one?
I don't know if
There's also the possibility like plays but isn't 100%.
Right.
Like, that's sort of the middle ground here.
Daggone. It's Oklahoma State?
Yeah, they went from +2 whatever last night to what are they, -2.5 now or 3?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did I get this?
He definitely practiced the first 2 days from several people I talked to. So I don't know if something went weird or something, but
there's just one whale out there who hates Cam Rising. It was like as soon as he saw he was ready to play, he's like, "Oh, I'm baiting the hell out of the Utes."
Well, all right. Oklahoma State as a home, like if you're a trends, Oklahoma State as a home underdog, 8-1 against the spread, and all 8 of those instances are also straight up wins. You know, like there's something to be said for having to go play in Stillwater. There's something to be said for if you thought Oklahoma State was going to be a really good team this year, you should expect that they're going to have one of their best performances. So, yeah, nobody hates Cam Rising. I think we're just,
No, that one whale clearly does.
Over under 52.5. I wouldn't hate an under.
Listen, I really want to watch this football game. I have no interest in putting money on it until it starts. And then even then, I'm not sure I will.
If he was definitely playing and was a 100%, I actually liked over, but not with stolen money at this point. I mean, no.
Well, like we talked about this, but the first 4 possessions against Baylor, Utah's offense was like incredibly impressive. They were multiple. They were moving across the field. You had Keithy. You had Money Parks. They were even running the ball effectively. Like they were moving the pocket. Like you saw the like idealized version of Utah's offense in a way that you would consider them a team that could go and compete with anybody in the country. Was that Baylor?
No, I think Utah's offense was legitimately awesome with Rising healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, Baylor's defense to me does not suck. They made Air Force look terrible. They shut down the Utah backup just fine. So,
do you guys want a COVID fun fact?
Oh yeah,
it's not real. No, the combined age of the 2 quarterbacks in this game is 49.
Ooh,
there will be NFL games this weekend where the combined QB age is probably lower than that.
We just had one on Sunday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Stroud and Caleb was like 43 or 44.
Yeah, wasn't Stroud younger? I don't know if Caleb's younger.
Yeah. We'll see. Again, Utah, Oklahoma State, 2.5 right now. Oklahoma State, it is flipped towards the Pokes' way. Then on Saturday night in Norman, Josh Heupel leads the Vols in to face Brent Venables and the Oklahoma Sooners. Right now, we're sitting right around 7. We're sitting right around 57.5 or so. Who's got a lock?
Chip.
Lay 'em. Yeah. How much time you got, buddy? All right, so Tennessee's defensive line against Oklahoma's offensive line, decided advantage for Tennessee. I think that when it comes to what Oklahoma might try to do with a very, very good defense to limit what Tennessee does, I think that there is such a lower ceiling on how many points Oklahoma can score in this game that eventually there are going to be those kinds of explosive plays. They are running the ball too well with Dylan Sampson, and you always have the threat of what they're going to be able to do with creating explosive plays, throwing the ball. I also don't think we've seen Nico's best game yet, considering the opponent. And this, I tell you what, this could be a spot where if they're taking away all the options and you need your quarterback to go do something, who do you trust more to go do something? Because I trust Tennessee's quarterback to go do that more than I trust Oklahoma's, though Jackson Arnold with his legs clearly has become a bigger threat with this offense. Again, as I've said sort of throughout the week, Oklahoma, it doesn't look easy. Like nothing has looked easy. And I'm not ready to think that it's all going to click into place. I've got Tennessee winning this game probably by double digits.
I have a lock for this game as well. It is not on the spread because I'm with you. Like, I think Tennessee wins and covers, but it's just going on the road, first start against a good, coach in Brent Venables, whose defense might confuse you a little bit. And I have seen Nico, as much as I love him, I have seen him take some chances he probably shouldn't take. So there's a chance he could do that here. What I prefer is the Oklahoma team total under 24.5. Because like I said, when we did the big game breakdown yesterday, I think if you're Oklahoma, you have to play something of a perfect game to win this. But I also think that recipe for you in this matchup is kind of keeping that offense off the field and trying to muddy things up a bit and make it more of a wrestling match than a kung fu or whatever MMA kind of mixed martial art you want to go with there. So yeah, give me Oklahoma team total under 24.5. That was for Mikey, by the way.
Let's go.
We had Gerald McCoy on the show this morning on the radio show with Dusty, former Sooner legend. He was, he had everybody that was listening was trying, like, we're ready to run through a wall for him. I don't know if I'd run into that wall, but I'm going to go. So I kind of like the under in this one. I'm going to go under Tennessee team total 32.5. Brent Venables is one of the better defensive coordinators. I think the strength of Oklahoma is their defense, clearly. Danny Stutzman is the linebacker, directing traffic. R. Mason Thomas was the dude who kind of saved the game against Tulane. He made some huge plays. I think he could pressure Nico. I'm tempted to take Oklahoma, but the Tennessee freight train does scare me somewhat. So I'll just say Oklahoma slows them down enough to keep it under that team total.
Gerald McCoy has you fearless. What a conversation it must have been. Hey, I'll tell you what, there's a team in America that's averaging 63 points per game, but Danny's like, you know what?
Ain't played nobody yet.
Bud, you got any wager thoughts here?
I do lean under, but the pace for Oklahoma has returned to full throttle, as has Tennessee. But I think both defenses are better than both offenses.
Matchup wise, or even do you think Tennessee's defense is better than Tennessee's offense? Or are you just saying matchup wise? You think the defenses have?
I think Tennessee's defense is better than Oklahoma's offense, and I think Oklahoma's defense is probably better than Tennessee's offense.
Another fun fact is that Tennessee scored more points in the first quarter than they did in their team total for this game.
Actually, you know what? Let's keep it. Tennessee first quarter's 3-0 on the season. Let's keep it rolling. Tennessee first quarter -1.5.
It's only 1.5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the first quarter. Okay. So you're going a 2-for-1 special here?
Yeah.
Wow. Chips are big on the vowels.
I'm just painting myself orange here. And this is what we're doing. This is the life I've chosen to live.
You want me to send this to you?
Maybe I might get my own.
Uh-oh.
Is this your pick?
No, it's not her pick, but
Okay.
I think she has to go do a hit.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, this is Mackenzie Brooks. She made a guest pick last week. It went off really well.
No, it
the
didn't.
comment section was lit.
No, the pick
That's
lost.
the
He's
issue.
just well received.
The appearance was good.
Sharks, I'm here asking for a redemption pick.
Okay.
In return, I will probably be really obnoxious about it on Saturday and put it all over Twitter.
Okay.
Sounds
All
good.
right.
How do we feel about that deal? And Chip, you're coming this Saturday, right?
Yeah, I'll be in tomorrow. I'm on at like 3 p.m. and then 6 p.m. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, let's do it. All right, so what's the pick?
All right, pick today. I actually brought some notes. We're going a little bit down the board here, as we usually do. Fresno State playing New Mexico. Get a load of this. Fresno State team total over 37.5. Okay, last year, New Mexico embarrassed them, beat them. Very out of character. Do not see that happening again. That's baked into this line. Okay, let's look at New Mexico points allowed against FBS teams this season, shall we? 46 to Auburn, 60 to Arizona. Last 4 conference games last year: 44 to Utah State, 56 to UNLV, 52 to San Jose State. And now we're talking about Fresno in Albuquerque. We're looking at 41, 39, 38. I mean, lock it in.
Sicko mode. Let's go.
I mean, that is
That was a sicko mode play.
Lock agreement.
Oh,
He's jumping on that.
It's on my card. You can ask Mikey. I sent him all my picks before the show. Fresno
Dude, me
State
and
team
Tom, we're on
total
it,
over
me and Tom.
37.5. Mackenzie and I are using the same model. I hope yours is
Yeah,
doing
we have
better
them-
than
We have
mine.
them projected for 47 points, so a good
Yeah.
bit of wiggle room there.
Crossing over key numbers, finding matchup advantages. Let's go, Kens. Love it.
You know, Mikey, our producer, he was like, maybe we should do her own walk-up music or her own graphic. I'm like, she has to win one first, so we'll see how it goes.
I gotta show you guys. I took a picture in Danny's office the other day,
Oh,
thinking I was
wait.
gonna like smack him, but that's gonna go on Twitter. soon.
That's messed up. That's messed
I do
up.
have a 7-game lead on Danny in our Saturday competition. I leave with that.
6. You check with
Yeah,
James.
he rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, James is wrong for that accounting.
Yeah, exactly. James
That
accounting
doesn't
a little
make
sus.
All right. Disgusting. I mean, I tell you what, if you really want to like ingratiate yourself to the Cover 3 family, coming
Find
in
that.
with a little Fresno's team total over against New Mexico, that's a great way to do it.
I mean, that is the windiest FBS game of the weekend, I will say. So,
Ooh.
I think Fresno center is out. So that's
Not worried.
a gutsy pick from Kent's.
Not worried. I
No.
believe in Broncos big bad boys.
To get
To allow
bowled over.
points. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you might not need to throw the ball. They still got to tackle you.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a path. There's a path. Okay. Coming up on the other side, we open up the full Saturday card, looking at everything. Plus, maybe more Sicko mode, but definitely Moneyline Sprinkles and more. Next.
A Quiet Place Day 1 is now streaming on Paramount Plus. It's thrilling, terrifying. It will make your heart pound out of your chest. A Quiet Place Day 1, now streaming.
Back here on the Cover 3 podcast, let's take a quick look at what we've got so far on the board. Chips on Illinois plus 8.5, Tennessee -7, and Tennessee first quarter -1.5. Bud. My bad. Bud, Washington State team total over 34.5. Michigan first half plus 3.5. Chips got Illinois plus 8.5. Tennessee -7. Tennessee first quarter -1.5. Danny is on Nebraska -7.5. Nebraska, Illinois under 43.5. And the Tennessee team total under 32.5. And Tom has USC-Michigan under 44.5. Oklahoma team total under 24.5. And the Fresno team total over 37.5. All right. Anything goes on Saturday. Bud, you were last week's winner. What we got?
All right, let's go to the state of South Carolina, where I have a twofer. First, because someone's hitting this, I want to get this in before it just runs more. We will be taking Clemson team total under 32.5. I don't know that I truly believe in what I saw from Clemson's offense against App State. I think it's definitely improved. It's better than it was last year, but App State's defense might just be a total scam. And NC State's defense played pretty hard against Tennessee up until there was a little quit factor there, which was out of character for them. But I think it was just because they knew their offense couldn't do anything. And I definitely think Tennessee's offense is better than what Clemson has. So give me the under 32.5 in that one. And then I will also be taking under 45.5 full game in South Carolina and Akron. I don't know, is Sellers going to play? Is he not going to play? I like our 45.5 we got there at our buddies from FanDuel. Make every moment more. So I like the under 45.5. Akron's offense to me is they're both bad, the offense and defense, but the offense is considerably worse in my opinion than the defense. And they hung tough with Rutgers defensively for about a half.
Yeah, Rutgers blasted them in the second half.
They did.
Cover that spread. So Scarlet Knights do.
But are there, for team totals in that Clemson-NC State game, are there still 13.5s at reasonable juice? Because that has been dropping since we've done the show.
Wait, you mean first half line?
No, the NC State team total.
Oh, let me take a look here. We have that is, yeah, we got some 13.5s out there, Tom.
All right, NC State team total under 13.5.
Nice.
Just
Yeah.
new QB going against Clemson's defense.
I think
on
that
the
plays
road.
with full game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I didn't actually downgrade NC State's offense at all because I think
No.
McCall looks hurt
Yeah.
and has all season. Like the arm looks bad. So, but then again, I just wasn't ever high on this NC State offense this year.
The ability to push the ball down the field to Noah Rogers on the outside or Justin Jolie at tight end in the comeback against Louisiana Tech, you could see that it seemed like it was happening with a little bit more success once Bailey came in, the vertical passing game. I 100% agree. But the fact that I had to use the phrase in the comeback against Louisiana Tech
That is a concerning phrase to use.
That is a concerning phrase to use when we're talking about confidence.
There is some concern there.
Danny?
I'll take under in the full game. I agree with both you guys. I think I don't think there's that much difference. I'm actually kind of curious to see what the offense looks like with CJ Bailey, because it was sputtering. But I do think no matter who plays, I don't see either quarterback putting a ton of points up against Clemson's defense, who was pretty tough for a half against Georgia. Again, we talk about quit factor in a couple of these games. I do think they were just too much too late. And I'm not completely sold like Bud on that Clemson and Cade Klubnik are just completely fixed now. I think this would be a lower scoring game. So I like the under.
All right. Let's go. A line that has sat. Just sat.
Oh, the chat hit that one pretty good. Or there's a group moving right now, and we just got it in before they did. But
On what? State unders?
on that South Carolina under.
Okay. This is like this is a last call. Okay. Last call for the Kansas Jayhawks. I mean, if it doesn't go now, I mean, it ain't gonna go, because the performances have not been great. You've lost a couple in a row. You're going to go play West Virginia in their house. And I still think that Kansas is the better team than West Virginia. I think they've got more good players that I am willing to invest in than West Virginia does. I think Lance Leipold, Neil Brown does a great job of getting the most out of West Virginia, but I think Lance Leipold has a coaching advantage in this matchup. They find themselves as short underdogs in this game. I've just seen it sit at 2.5. Is it still 2.5 right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get it at 2.5.
Yeah. Let's go. Last call for Rock Chalk, or otherwise it's going to be basketball season real fast. Okay. So I still think that reasons why we were excited to watch this team at the beginning of the year, the seeds of that are still there. So, I mean, I hate to do this on September the 19th, going into September the 21st, but Kansas, you know what time it is? Gut check Saturday.
Lock agreement.
Yes.
We may feel that Jeff Grimes, maybe that offense hasn't clicked yet with the new OC and Jalen Daniels, but you know what Jeff Grimes has clicked against? West Virginia's defense over the last 3 years. 45, 40, and 31 points against this DC. So, styles make fights. They were pretty if this game, if UNLV had not recovered that ridiculous fumble and they didn't get that tip pick, what do we think this game is? It's probably pick. Maybe West Virginia won. Now you can also say, hey, if West Virginia catches one of two pick sixes that Eli Holstein threw them, maybe this game is 3. So you can make the counterfactual argument. I get it, but I think on a neutral field, Kansas is a slightly better football team than West Virginia, and I don't think the home is worth 4 points. So I'll agree with Chip.
All right. Tom, where you want to go?
It worked for me last week, and I'm not getting off it this week. I got it when it originally opened at 27.5. It's still 28.5 some places, but it's on the move to 29, I can see. But I don't care, because this is a team coached by a man who I don't believe has mercy in his heart. I think that if they are up in the fourth quarter and the game is over, they will continue to try to be up more. Give me Indiana minus 28.5 against Charlotte.
I've been thinking about this, man. So Charlotte's backup quarterback, or the kid they're playing, Trexler Ivy, was hot trash all last year, but he actually played really well last week. So I don't know if he's turned a corner or if I should just value that 12-game sample set where he was consistently rating in like the 40s and 50s on PFF over what he showed last week against Gardner-Webb. But he came in and helped him out quite a bit. So, like, Indiana's been killing teams. Do they maybe look at the Charlotte film and take a break? Okay, they're a wagon.
I'm not calling him a wagon yet, but I'm just saying Kurt Signetti has. There's no off switch. He's like, what's the Kevin Durant tweet? Like, when I'm on here, it's 11 or whatever. That's Kurt Signetti.
Yeah, I was
I'm not insane. Just if they play another, like if a new quarterback plays, I'm going to go watch all his clips on PFF. I would like to just have some feel for what I'm betting.
No, I just like the way that you phrased that, because you said the Charlotte backup quarterback or the quarterback they're playing, which inherently assesses their quarterback room as neither one of these are a starting quarterback.
Well, okay, the kid they're playing is the third stringer.
Quarterbacks.
I was like, look, generally third string quarterback for Charlotte, the rule is he's going to suck. But there is some chance that the coach early in the season did not pick the right quarterback. We even see some of the best coaches in the history of the sport pick the wrong kid because practice doesn't always simulate game.
But sometimes at the FBS level, you've got a room full of QB2s.
You do.
Just stockpile them.
I think Charlotte
would like that sometimes.
Charlotte would do disgusting things for like an FBS average QB2. Like that. Yeah, they have not had quarterback play since Biff got there.
Yeah. I kind of feel like covering 28.5 against Charlotte is a wagon watch type game. Committee chair.
You're not on the committee, so you don't
I'm
really get a
asking
say
you,
in that.
committee chair. I'm asking you.
He's sort of forwarding a nomination or recommendation for observation to you.
What the wagon committee does behind the scenes is none of your concern, sir. We will handle our business as we see fit.
Listen.
But yeah.
but we're aware of the situation.
we are aware of the situation in Bloomington.
Wait, monitoring the situation?
When you said handle business behind closed doors, I was really about to make a joke, current events about a hip hop mogul, but I don't want the FBI
I've done all my required hits. I've done all the appearances. I don't want to just have
bad boy for life.
Okay, Danny, save us. Let's pivot. Let's pivot fast.
Yeah, let's pivot quickly. I'm going to go a game that we circled as a trap game, and I feel like we might have just forgotten about it because the one team start. I'm going to go to Tampa, where the South Florida Bulls play host to the Miami Hurricanes. Coming in on fire, Cam Ward is leading in the Heisman race. They looked awesome in every game they played so far. They embarrassed Florida in Gainesville. And USF, they got blown out by Bama, right? They got no chance in this game. Or do they? Give me my guy. Now, I've been talking about this kid for a while, Byron Brown. I think he's a playmaker. I do think this defense is going to be a challenge for the Hurricanes. 16.5 points is too many.
Get you 17.
Oh, I can get 17? Even better.
Oh,
give me all those points for South Florida. I think this game's a tricky one for Miami. I think Miami is really good, but I also think South Florida is better than the score. And we've talked a lot about this. They played Bama really hard, gave up 28 in the fourth quarter. I don't think that happens again. Give me the Bulls plus 17.
I seem to recall being yelled at by Daniel Cannell when I didn't have Cam Ward on my QB power rankings, and I said that Byron Brown I actually like better than Cam Ward. And now here we are, Mr. Cannell, betting Byron Brown against Cam Ward. Huh.
Are you going money line? Are you?
No,
are you
no,
going
no,
money
no,
line?
no, no,
Okay,
no, no,
all
no,
right.
no. The rest of the team matters as well. The rest of the team matters too.
Did you know that Byron competed in the javelin throw?
Ooh, I did not know that.
Some people throw darts. Byron Brown throws javelins. My play on this game is actually on the total 65.5. Or are we still at 65? 64.5.
You going under? Let's take
Yeah,
a
going
look here.
under.
I can get you 65. It's
What's
the
the-
best I see.
Yeah.
Okay. No, there is. Yeah, 65 is the best.
65 is fine. I am going back to, like, there is the misconception of the final score of the Alabama South Florida game. There's also the sort of overlooking of where that game was in terms of total points before things sort of spun out of control late in the game. There is I think, respect that you have to give the coaching staff over there in Tampa for the way that they handled not just this year, but last year against Alabama. Now, Alabama did not have functional quarterbacking, agree, but like you still had to go out there and you still had to find ways against a ton of talented future pros to be able to put together a game plan to close that talent gap, to make it so close in that slog that it makes Nick Saban want to quit coaching as he was walking out of the tunnel, just covered in rain. I think that this is a game where if South Florida is going to win, despite them being such a high tempo, up tempo team, creating more possessions is creating more opportunities for the talent advantage that Miami has to be able to lead to plays that prevent you from winning. So this is a huge, huge number in a game that I think is going to require maybe some defensive special teams, touchdowns, or short fields to be able to really punch this thing all the way up to, getting to 65. So I will go under in Miami, South Florida.
This is a live betting game for me. I just want to see how both sides decide to defend it. Most importantly, we don't really know how Miami's going to defend the veer and shoot stuff that USF runs. I looked to see if their DC had faced this before. I don't believe he has. If he did, it was a really poor version of it. Thus, it didn't register with me when I was reviewing his prior games. So, I kind of want to see, what we got there as far as how he's going to defend it.
Is there like a rivalry aspect of this game to determine who the real South Florida is?
So
I
I'm just going to spitball on this. Was USF named South Florida because, like, for a long time, the bottom part of this state, except for like the very parts of the coast, were pretty much uninhabitable.
Uninhabitable,
All called the Everglades
swamp. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, for a while, like, Tampa was kind of as far south as people went.
0 cents for anybody to refer to Tampa as South Florida.
But
it just doesn't.
Like, when was USF founded? Probably like 30s, 40s, 50s. I don't know.
But do you think that oh man, we should ask our friend Michael Kelly. Do they want to rely on the USF instead of South Florida?
56?
Mm-hmm.
Shoot. Well, that's still before like widespread air conditioning and mosquito control. So there's still like, I mean, that's, 70 years ago.
They did announce their plans for the stadium. Look what's awesome. So they don't have to play over at Raymond James. It looks phenomenal.
When you are in Tampa, it is still a 4-hour drive to Miami, and that's south. So
and you know what road you take, right?
Alligator Alley?
You used to take the Tamiami Trail, US 41. I mean, now you take Alligator Alley and 75. But
and so I guess I-4 goes the other way towards Orlando.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
You ever heard of Armwood High School? Like, Armwood is right there on I-4 and 75. You drive right by it. The Hawks.
I'm guessing they've got talent.
The Hawks. They got some talent.
Yes.
Multiple NFL guys.
Sounds like a great spot to be able to accumulate talent.
It's a good spot to go to a game because you can just get right on the interstate and then get right back on the interstate when the ball game's over.
Yep. All right. Coming up on the other side, more of our Week 4 locks for Saturday and our Moneyline Sprinkles. Next.
Chip, we got a revision for you. There are 65s and a halves out there at reputable places for that Miami game.
Let's go.
So, congrats.
Thank you. It was
no push for you.
It was there around the beginning of the week. So, all right, I got anywhere from 4 to 5-ish or 8 more to go.
I have 3 or 8 more.
4 to 5-ish or 8. I don't know.
I have 3 to 4 or 4-ish.
I think I have 4 or 5.
Okay, Danny,
I'm around the same.
Okay. Danny, where do you want to go?
Let me go ACC.
All right.
Rutgers going to Blacksburg to Lane Stadium. By the way, I saw the news. I don't know if you guys saw it. Metallica is coming in May of 25
That is pretty
from
cool.
Lane Stadium. That looks awesome. I might try to go. I've never seen Metallica. I think it'd be incredible to see it there. Would be awesome. Although Hokie fans, I don't know. Okay, so I had 2 plays on this one. I think I'll just go with one. Well, I told you guys I'm trying to use some discipline. Give me the under. Common young guys coming to town. Rutgers, physical. I think their defense could provide some challenges. The one thing that I did think when they lost to Vanderbilt was they were a little bit shell-shocked from the physicality against Vanderbilt. I do think Rutgers is going to bring a similar mentality, coming running downhill at them. I'm going to go under 43.5.
I can get you 45.
Whoa. There we go.
Whoa.
I just doubled my units.
Limp Bizkit, the opener for some of that tour.
Maybe. No, I think it was Pantera.
Do we have a yeah?
Well, it's not really Pantera anymore, though.
I mean, if somebody from Odyssey is not listening and firing up like a male enhancement sponsorship after that segment Danny just did, like what are we doing here, folks? Like, come on, this is hammer, meat, and nail. Good Lord.
Hey, let's go to the Iron Skillet.
Did you
TC
upgrade SMU after they decided to stop with this Preston Stone stuff?
I upgraded their offense
Yeah.
and Jennings can run. TCU's defense.
Yeah, I've thought about this.
And I look on the other side and I like Josh Hoover. And Iron Skillet totals are normally just north of 60, 61. This is a tick lower. Still got 58.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Iron Skillet, TCU-SMU over 58.5. Shout out to Tom Fernelli, who took a screenshot of a Dallas City Council.
That's the mayor.
That's the mayor.
That's the mayor.
Wearing a TCU sucks t-shirt in SMU colors. That's really good stuff. This game is 5:00 p.m. It's on the CW. It is meant to be bananas. Yeah, give me this one getting into the 60s. I'll go over 58.5.
How many more weeks until the mayor of Dallas is wearing a Cowboys suck t-shirt?
This is one of those ones where you want to kind of just take the slider all the way to the right and take that like plus 250 on like the over 67 or whatever. I think there's some outcomes where it funnels like crazy high.
Oh, also, it's going to be.
They haven't been able to get out and run. Like SMU, think about who they've played. BYU, slow as hell. Nevada, really, really slow. I'm not going to comment on the tempo of the FCS team because I would just be lying. I don't know. But like Lashley for a while has just been head in the face of this tablet. And at some point, he's going to look up and just call the ball game faster. Like I know he intended to do, like he told us at ACC Media Day. So
high of 97.
Bad day to be a defense.
So maybe not fresh legs at the end of the game.
Tom said it. Bad day to be a defense in Gerald Ford Stadium there in Dallas. So yeah, give me the over in the Iron Skillet.
You gonna like ladder bet this?
I mean, apparently Steve in the tailgate says he's looking at over 68.5 plus 221.
Damn, is that all?
I don't know. You know how books get with some of these sliders. There's not always but not at FanDuel Sportsbook where you can make every moment more.
Correct. I'm sure there's slider.
Those alts are priced fairly, I would imagine.
Bud doesn't know the tempo of FCS offenses because he doesn't know ball.
This is true. I do not.
All right, Bud. What do you want to do?
Sorry, I was just scrolling down. Well, hey, you can get over 87.5 plus 1,300 at FanDuel if you want to go just absolutely psycho. Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, over 68.5 at FanDuel is plus 225 or plus 250. So we're getting 25 cents better. Chip's right. Look at that. All right. I mean, of course he is.
I might throw a little on that 87.5 just for fun.
I mean, then it's like 45-45 going to overtime, and you're just like, dum, 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 dum.
I'm sure there's a lot of juice on the comeback there. I don't know that, like, I haven't mathed that out, but that's probably not. Maybe don't slide it all the way to the right. Like slide it most of the way open, but Yeah. Okay. Brought my own drill today.
Oh, you need the dentist drill?
Yeah. All right. After a bad beat last week by Jackson Dart ripping his helmet off in the end zone, I'm going back to the well. Ole Miss offense sputtered a little at times first week, but the interesting thing for me about the Rebs is that this defense has allowed 0 touchdowns through 3 games. 2 things are keeping me away from the full game spread. Number 1, this is a look-ahead spot for the Rebs to an actual opponent on deck, Kentucky. And 2, Kiffin has his buddy Clay Helton coaching the other sideline. So I'm going to go with Ole Miss minus 21.5 in the first half, which I assume we can still get here.
I can't even find
He
it.
texted these the night before because I'm sure he's doing cleanings and fillings and stuff.
What's the number on this? Yeah, I can't find it.
Yeah, actually, FanDuel's got 21.5. Beautiful. All right, and I'm not going to get off these 2 trains until they crash and burn. So I'm also taking Tennessee laying the 7, and I'm fading Mississippi State. So Florida minus 6. So the dentist is really feeling himself, and he also ends with, by the way, what's up, McKenzie? And waves at him. So, yeah.
That was not a CBS employee who just
No.
happened to be a guest on this show.
Yeah,
I want to document.
Contractor without payment, so unpaid.
He's spraying the board like
Yes,
a lot of ways.
He also has more opinions on games too. He also thinks Missouri is going to torch the Vanderbilt secondary.
Wow.
I've got a play on that Ole Miss Georgia Southern game. Georgia Southern team total under 14.5. I understand that J.C. French lit up Boise State's defense in the very first game, but then they only mustered 20 the very next week against Nevada. This is an Ole Miss defense that so far has delivered. I mean, again, level of competition, I understand, but they are doing that we know what we're supposed to do. We're taking pride in trying to play at the highest level throughout the game, keep them out of the end zone. Like those sorts of approaches are things that I do take note of regardless of result. So if they haven't allowed a touchdown yet, now I've got under 14.5. That's a lot of wiggle room. Even against Clay Helton, a former Lane Kiffin assistant.
I mean, he embarrasses former assistants routinely on X. Like, what's going to stop him from doing it on the field, right? I mean,
yeah, but I mean, is he? I don't know. Maybe he is tight with Clay Helton. That's certainly possible. What do we got here? So I will take something in this game as well. Go ahead and give me the under 51.5 for Ole Miss. I worry about like the health of their backup tight ends a little bit, which could affect their ability to run the ball and sustain drives in the second half when the starters come out. The other reason why I actually do like this, and I'm not just adding it on because the dentist picked it. Jackson Dart has taken like a lot of hits in recent weeks. I mean, he's playing his butt off, but he is taking shots. And I wonder if they like try to run the ball, get the ball out quickly, and not have him take so many shots with Kentucky coming to town.
I hear it. Tom,
that helmet issue sounds like a lack of discipline to me. I don't know. Show some respect for your opponent. Don't you dare take your helmet off.
Is Army minus 6 still on the board, or is this thing raced out to 6.5?
It's 6.
All right, Army minus 6. Army's good.
So too.
I think Army's a good football team. They have a schedule that is going to have them creeping up into awkward conversations where people are like, do you know how to talk to your loved ones about an AP top 25 Army team? Because they're playing really well. And I think that they've got a spot here where they're Mikey Stadium. Like, it's so funny, Bud. You like throw the numbers behind this. Playing in Annapolis, I do not consider a big home field for Navy. I think playing at Mikey Stadium is an environment that is worth taking into consideration when you're trying to figure out what kind of home field advantage there is right here.
Kind of depends on the quality of team. Like last year, Troy went up there and just athletically, it wasn't really close, and so they just handled business. And I think I think the Army's quarterback get hurt in that one, but they generally have similar quality teams come to play. And I do think it's hard to play up there.
Rice, I would say, is not last year's Troy team.
Rice does not appear to have difference makers athletically this year. And last year, they just looked faster to me.
Yeah. So give me, and that game you can find on CBS Sports Network, the mothership, the same place where you can see the Cover 3 podcast on Tuesdays.
That's Chat right. Wants to, would you bet under 49.5 plus 150? Yeah, I definitely would. Plus 115 is fine on that.
Yeah, 49.5 is a pretty key number there.
I got one.
Go.
Do you got, I mean, I think we can all unequivocally agree the woke agenda potentially is threatening our country as a whole.
Antifa coming to town.
And it has to be stopped. I mean, it really does. I got caught up in the calgorithm, like I'm sure a lot of people did. If there's some cute, snarky tweet that comes out from Cal football's account, I'm going to be very agitated. I am genuinely concerned that we could see a transfer portal situation with the Florida State guy that went viral after they were losing. I don't know if you guys saw the picture or not, but he could be transferring to Cal. We don't want to lose him. He's ours. Give me the Noles. I'm going to try it again. The beard wasn't around. The beard is back. The jinx is coming to an end this weekend.
So you know what can we tell the story of what it really took to end the jinx?
What is the real story?
Shooting 74 from the tips and losing money.
That's true. This is true. It's bad. Hopefully that is the end of the jinx.
You had to be given. You had to be given.
Oh yeah! Look at that.
Fight.
Come on.
I've been reading up on critical Cal theory, and I just, I mean, honest to God, DJU is still starting, and I know it's not 100% his fault. Like, I know that the 10% of the time he makes an accurate throw, the receiver drops it 90% of the time. I get all of that. But nothing has changed in anything I have seen from Florida State in any of these games. Why am I suddenly going to believe that this is the week they get it figured out? It's like, until there's a change, I'm just going to fade the Noles. Maybe that happens this week, but I doubt it. Cal plus 2.5. Like, they've already gone on the road and beaten Auburn. Why can't I? Why wouldn't I think they're going to go on the road and beat Florida State too?
You guys got balls betting this pregame. Like I think it's an important one to watch warm-ups for.
For the tackles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if neither of those Florida State tackles go, Florida State should not be favored in the game. Just period. Like I would lay points with Cal if that is the case.
How many?
I don't know. Would you really like
2.5?
Probably. I mean, like San Diego State got a lot of pressure and hits on the Cal quarterback, and San Diego State is not actually good. So there's certainly a universe in which Cal has no chance to block FSU or something, and then like defense scores. But if neither of those tackles play, I would bet Cal, and I would probably lay under a field goal because it's not just down to 2 or 3. You're basically playing like tackle like 5 and 6 from the end of before Harris transferred out. So.
Calgorithm. It's too much. I mean, have we really thought about they might become too powerful?
Yes, we have thought about that. That's why it has to be stopped.
I don't know, man. The meme war, they are crushing.
No one goes into woke Campbell Stadium.
It was
you don't just walk into woke Campbell Stadium. You fill out reform first.
It'll be a real
it'll
be a real crowd this Parents Weekend.
Oh no!
A lot of braided leather belts, and
Uh-oh. You're not going to this school anymore, boy.
I like that other ACC fan bases have been trying to like foster a truce, and Cal Twitter says no.
Cal Twitter's pretty cool.
They are good.
Nerds on the internet. It's a winning combination.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's go. Who wants to grab it?
I've got a few more.
Yeah.
I'm going to go LSU team total over 39.5. UCLA's defense stinks. That's really the gist of my pick.
Oh, how did I miss that one?
That's a good one.
That's a good pick.
Never mind. I can't. Never mind. There's the fact that Cal Twitter is targeting the dog poop guy, I mean, it's just like it's
There's
weaponized.
some AI
Did they find
involved
him?
in there too. Of course there is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like you can't spell Florida State fan won't eat the dog poop
Without
without
DEI.
they're eating the dogs.
Oh.
Something along those lines. I don't know. There has been a lot of clamor in the tailgate for this pick because Georgia Tech is facing a ranked opponent as a double-digit underdog. I will not be taking the spread. I will be taking the over 57.5. I am not a believer that Georgia Tech is going to keep Tyler Shuck and this Jeff Brom offense in check. But I also think that with enough possessions, Georgia Tech's offense can go out there and score a bunch too. This is the first real chance for Louisville to play a team with a pulse. So yeah, let's get for a game that might get a little sideways. Louisville and Georgia Tech over 57.5.
The way you emphasize the word sideways had me thinking like there was some kind of movie reference. Like, what? How the hell is he connecting that movie to this game? But
Well, it's 39-34 when they played last year.
yeah. All right. Before this moves, I will have a play in this game as well. I will take Louisville and lay the 6 in the first half. Jeff Brom scripts. Louisville off a bye week, I believe.
Yep.
6 or 6.5. What'd you get?
There's a couple sixes out there. I'd
All right,
prefer
cool.
the 6.
Just I didn't remember my brain.
Tyler Shuck, better chance of staying healthy since it's only a half.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Hopefully he's been really solid so far. That's been the question. Can he stay healthy? Everyone loves what he does, when he's healthy.
All right. What how many we got left?
I'll fire 2 more.
Okay.
Give me Auburn laying 3 against Arkansas. I really do like the switch at quarterback. I know he's young. I know it wasn't a great opponent. I am not completely sold on Taylon Green being able to go on the road like he did against Oklahoma State and light him up. He kind of laid an egg last week. I think this is kind of one of those desperation games too for Auburn because they lost to Cal. I think they get off to a better start. So I'll lay the 3. And then Iowa, Minnesota.
Ooh.
Over 35. Let's go.
I don't know.
We've talked about this before. All I need is 2017. Just
I
20
really
to
want to bet
17.
under 37. It's just not coming back to me.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know about this.
Oh, you don't know if you can find it.
No. I know
Oh,
the
you don't know
35
about
is
the
out
bet.
there. I just don't know about the bet.
Yeah,
just-
it's a little
it's-
sicko.
I mean, there's 35s out there, Danny.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah,
that's
what
why I
get,
took
but
35.
It's I don't know. And it's not even so much a lack of faith in Iowa's offense. That's
Right. It's
making
both
me
of them.
scared. Yeah. I have 2 left as well. One of them is an under. I'll start with that one. Give me the Michigan State Boston College under 45.5. I don't know. I feel like BC is gonna go a little slower here. I mean, both teams have gone kind of slow, honestly, to start the season. But
Dude,
I think
I wanted
BC
to bet this so bad. I'm just concerned that that both these guys just launch it deep and do crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I
will say the one thing from what I've seen of Boston College, I think Bob's done a pretty good job of keeping Castellanos reeled in.
Yeah.
Like he's showing a lot more discipline, I think, in the offense this year than he was last year, where I do feel like it was just go out there and get it, kid. Whereas this year, I think there's a little more structure. And then my next pick and my final lock. Give me the Warhawks of ULM plus 44.5 against the Longhorns. Rewatching that game, Arch had some big plays. There were also some bad plays. And
yeah,
just like I know we joked about the hot seat for Quinn Ewers and how he brings a different dimension to the offense. I will say unequivocally that Quinn Ewers right now is a much better quarterback than Arch Manning. So I do think that Texas in Arch's first start could look a little sloppy at times. They might lean a little more on the run game. And then once they build the lead, I think maybe they'll just be happy to get out there with some bigger games. And they've already lost 1 QB to an injury, so they're not going to want to take any chances with the backup. So give me ULM plus 44.5.
Yuck.
Yep. Theme music, please.
Oh yeah. You want that theme music? Oh, you get that theme music.
It's time for Sicko mode. Let's go. I'm a little bit lower on some of the teams in the bottom of the Sun Belt. If things go wrong, they could be like UMass, UConn. That's kind of like Sicko mode of a Sicko mode.
All right, we got a 2-pack today. little double Sicko. The first, we're going to head to wherever the hell in Texas, North Texas is. We're going to head to the north of Texas. Denton. All right. And this is a team that we have been fading consistently against another team that we faded last week. I locked up Texas Tech against North Texas. That was really more of a play about North Texas, not really about my love for Texas Tech. I mean, both these teams suck. Why is, well, my notes from before the show say +9, but obviously somebody bet this. I wanted to bet the first half at plus 6.5, but that didn't last. I will still take the +4.5 in the first half for Wyoming. I have real concerns about their ability to score in the game over the full game, but I do think that they might be able to run the football a little bit on this North Texas defense and maybe keep it close for the first half.
Can I talk you out of it?
You've watched Svoboda?
I'm just saying, they're dead to me, and I don't want to see anybody else get hurt. Trusting the Svoboda, if you believe in it, stick with it. But I can't live with myself if I don't say I didn't warn you.
I will not pursue more of the. I won't be adding more to the 4.5 than I already took the 6.5.
Okay, good.
Okay, that handshake. The other one, we're going to head to the center part of Michigan, the central part. Again,
Mount
I don't
Pleasant.
know where this is.
Mount Pleasant.
Mount Pleasant. That's right. We're going to Mount Pleasant. And we're going to be playing a team that last week had like 140 yards of total offense under their team total. We're going to take Ball State under 23.5 team total. I don't really know how many points they're going to score. And Central Michigan's defense is bad, but not horrible. And I think that's an important designation to make in sports wagering. Like, you got to be able to separate terrible, which is like Kent State, from just bad, which is like Utah State. There is a difference. So give me under 23.5 team total for Ball State.
Marshall, team total under 6.5.
You don't believe in the biscuits?
Yeah.
I think that was the tone and the tenor of a head coach that knows it's about to be a long ass afternoon in Columbus. The Silver Bullets are nasty. And when the starters leave, it's players that should be starters. And when those guys leave, it's players that will be starters for similarly national championship contending teams. So Marshall ain't getting in the end zone under 6.5.
This is big noon on Fox game of the week.
and I've got a reason, to.
This will be the game that I am going to be live betting first. Under the what offense is Ohio State actually running this week principle. And if they decide to do what they did in the opener, I will not be laying them. If they decide to come out and run some actual parts of their offense, then I will be live betting Ohio State early and often in this game.
I'm not supposed to talk about this stuff.
Also, does Marshall want to run tempo or not? Because normally they're a tempo team, but a lot of these coaches try to do some smart stuff in terms of like just not getting embarrassed. And if I was Marshall, I would just sort of not try to give Ohio State 14 possessions in this ball game. But they did go tempo against Virginia Tech for a while, and they went tempo against Stony Brook. So maybe that's just their identity.
We'll see. All right, I think let's see.
You've got like 8-ish more, don't you?
I said 8-ish. All right, Texas A&M Bowling Green over 52.5.
Okay.
If Connor Bazelak can move that rock against Penn State, I think he can go out there and get us enough points that the new Marcel Reed era can take care of their part of this job. So let's Bowling Green, go get us 17-21. Texas A&M take it the rest of the way.
I do have my brain melt about just addressing the chat. Like, yeah, tempo bothers me a lot this year because I don't know, like, why are you running this tempo? This is not consistent with, the preseason list that I have up here on my wall. And like, are you doing this just so you don't get blown out in a non-conference game? Or are you doing this because you're trying to figure out how to use helmet comms? Or it's been weird. I mean, I've won, but like, it's not been comfortable.
And Kansas State -6.5 because I like violence. Look.
Wait, isn't there a 6 out there?
I gotta find it. Hold on.
What number is this?
Where the hell are you?
Next week, I'm going to highlight all my plays in Spank Odds just so I have the rows highlighted only.
So here's my thought. What we saw with Kansas State was the unlocking of what we fully wanted. It was utilize. I mean, Dylan Edwards obviously got it done with special teams as well, but like, you've got DJ Giddens, you've got Dylan Edwards, you've got Avery Johnson, you run the daggum ball. And do you know what I think is starting to show up a little bit? Kansas State in like full, like the way that they're building this thing out. I like their tight ends. I think that they are building an offense right now. Obviously might have taken a few games before they wanted to fully unlock it, but you are going to Provo after a big home win. BYU is 3-0. This is going to be tough, but this should not be under a touchdown.
Yeah, I can get you 6. It's out there. Pretty prevalent.
Yeah, I'll lay the 6 lock agreement.
All right.
Also, to address the guy in the chat who needs a definitive lock for his parlay, because I helped him hit an 8-teamer last week, I would recommend stopping. Like, if you can't spell parlay, please do not be betting 18 parlays. Although I did have one last week. It was like $1 to win 290,000.
I enjoy the
spread hit,
spread the board approach. In case you can't tell, I mean, if I can push these chips around, tip the dealer, and get out of here, whew, it's a good Saturday. All right, I'm tapped out till the sprinkles. What do we think?
Done.
Yeah, I'm done.
Same.
All right. Whew. To review, and yes, we do throw it on the screen. Thank you very much, Mikey. Here's what we got. Bud is on. Washington State team total over 34.5. Michigan first half plus 3.5. Clemson team total under 32.5. Kansas plus 2.5. South Carolina Akron under 45.5. Ole Miss team total under 51.5. Louisville first half -6. Wyoming first half plus 4.5. Ball State team total under 23.5. And Kansas State -6. I am on. Illinois plus 8.5. Tennessee -7. Tennessee first quarter -1.5. Kansas plus 2.5. Miami-USF under 65.5. TCU-SMU over 58.5. Georgia Southern team total under 14.5. Army -6. Georgia Tech Louisville over 57.5. Kansas State -6. Marshall team total under 6.5. And Texas A&M Bowling Green over 52.5. Danny is on. Nebraska -7.5. Nebraska, Illinois under 43.5. Tennessee team total under 32.5. NC State Clemson under 44.5. USF plus 17. FSU -2.5. Rutgers-Virginia Tech under 45. Auburn -3. Iowa, Minnesota over 35. And Tom's got USC-Michigan under 44.5. Oklahoma team total under 24.5. Fresno team total over 37.5. NC State team total under 13.5. Indiana -28.5. Cal plus 2.5. LSU team total over 39.5. Michigan State Boston College under 45.5. And ULM plus 44.5. We've got a couple lock fights. Chip and Danny on Illinois-Nebraska. Danny and Tom on FSU-Cal. We've got a lock agreement on Kansas plus 2.5 and Kansas State -6. Those would be Chip Bud agreements. We've got an agreement, Tom and Ken's, on Fresno State team total over 37.5. All right. And this Moneyline Sprinkles segment is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. let's review what we've got so far with the sprinkles. Last week, oh, Tom, you got the shading in there. Thank you.
You're
But
welcome.
missed on UConn. Chip hit on Pitt, lost on ECU. Danny lost on ECU, Florida State, and Colorado State. Tom hit on Washington State, lost on Purdue and Virginia. That has us at Chip currently 4-5 on the sprinkles, up 2.3 units. Tom 4-6 on the sprinkles, up 1.55 units. Bud 0-5, down 5 units. Danny 2-8, down 5.65 units. Go ahead and get this thing started. Rutgers plus 150, 140.
I have 140.
140. Okay.
Yep.
Coastal Carolina playing at home against Virginia.
Plus
And
buck and a quarter out there.
what?
Buck and a quarter.
Okay. And then you spent all week, soaking it in. Had 2 whole weeks.
BYU?
But buddy, I don't know if you've seen the kinds of Mac horror stories that Pete Limbo has seen. Okay? Because those Buffalo Bulls, they were getting drugged down into the muck by UMass. And they found something. They were able to pull away from those Minutemen, advance into the 21st century. Now they bring that second half energy to Northern Illinois. Let's go Buffalo.
Plus 430. Oh, 440's out there? Well, there you go.
Oh,
Damn, Chip, you've just got a lot of plays today.
I know. He is
Right,
feeling good.
Chip, you've been home like all week, just like oh, you know what happened? Chip he figured out those true media charts, and now, now he's got it.
Or the wife and kids went to the beach for like the last like warm beach weekend of the year, and Chip's just been in the lab all week.
Well, I've settled into this rhythm where, Danny and I have to pick every daggum game by like Tuesday morning. So then you get more time to stew on it. Then you just keep adding picks and adding picks and adding. I mean, it is minimum like a 17 game starting pack.
All right. My sprinkles for the week. I didn't lock it up earlier. I appreciate you, Chip. Danny, you're gonna lose that lock fight. Illinois plus 280. They're just gonna go on the road and beat another ranked team. Dylan Raiola ain't seen nothing like this yet. Kansas plus 120. I'm with you on the West Virginia. I know you guys are taking the points. I don't want them. I think Kansas is going to win outright. Who's going to bounce back this week? Bud, you don't want to fade Oregon State anymore, but I will, because I think there's a little too much value on Purdue after that whomping they got last week at Notre Dame. Give me the spoiler makers against Oregon State at plus 180. Arkansas plus 140. And Arizona State plus 130.
I was looking at that one too. Arizona State, Texas Tech. Who's the real what?
Mm-hmm.
A great question for both of those teams.
Yeah.
All right, I'll bang out mine. Tulane, back-to-back quality opponents. They get beat. They get banged up. Give me Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns. Little Emory Hunt special.
Emory in your ear? Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus 125. I got that.
I can get you 135.
Tom, perfect. I'm going to hop on the Kansas with you. Plus 120 at West Virginia. Give me Utah. I think Cam Rising's going to play. You told me about the glove. It actually made me feel better about this. Gloves sometimes, like if a guy figures out how to throw with them, he can be really sharp. They actually give you a better grip. I mean, we've seen some. Kurt Warner started using the glove back end of his career just whenever. He's got to be playing. He has to play. If I don't, I hate this pick, but I think he's going to play. And I think Utah wins. What can I get on that? I have plus 122.
Is there 122 out there? I got 120, but I can give you the extra 2 cents there.
Nice.
124.
Oh,
4 cents. Look at that. You are doubling your money.
Lastly, when I spoke to the FAU Owls,
Yeah.
probably was a little too patriotic. Like, I'm big on supporting the troops, so they let Army get that big win against them. But they had a big bounce back. Now they're a dog on the road against UConn at the Rent. FAU's going in and getting the dub. Give them to me. Plus 112.
I'll get you 115.
Even better.
All right, two things. One, if you actually are following these picks, don't go nuts just because I've had a hot start. Like, I don't have some massive edge on a Thursday. Like, do I expect to win? Yeah. Do I expect to crush on a Thursday after the lines have been out for 4 days? Not really. Number two, I definitely don't bet the same amount on a plus 600 underdog. So I know it says minus 1 unit. Like, the bet sizing there for record keeping, it just makes sense to just have that. Like, we should probably show an ROI, like just negative 100% for Bud. But like, just if you're watching this, like the end of the recap screen, I'm not firing the same amount on UConn plus 600 as I am. Yeah.
In fact, Bud told us in the group text last week that the UConn play was the biggest play he was making all weekend.
Yes, by dollars. Exactly. All right. I've got two here. Go ahead and give me Navy, speaking of supporting the troops, to pull the stunner on Memphis. Navy's looked a little better. And I was not as impressed with Memphis as I thought I would be. I think FSU's a mess. And number two, speaking of a team that just had a big emotional game, but in the opposite direction, how confident are we that Colorado State's going to come to play as UTEP rolls into town? UTEP runs a lot of real funky formations. They've already lost to an FCS team. Be pretty easy to write off there in Fort Collins. So give me UTEP plus 275 to roll in there and get that dub.
And that Moneyline Sprinkles segment was brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. I'll tell you what a late cut was. And the tailgate's just the best because sometimes they can remind you of things that you learned a long time ago but had forgotten about. Red bandana game.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yep.
Lamb.
I know.
Lamb.
I was like, because the pitch was the variance of Aiden Childs, right?
Right.
The highs and the lows. And so, hey, it's a money line sprinkle. You're going to catch something a decent price with them being a touchdown underdog. But the second that I was reminded that's red bandana game, I don't want no part of rooting for the visitor in Chestnut Hill.
Yeah, I would have probably taken Michigan State plus the touchdown had it not been the red bandana game. That's why I went with the under instead.
Yeah, you don't want that. You don't want that on your soul, on your spirit. No. It's not it. All right. We will be back Saturday night, pretty close to the conclusion of Tennessee, Oklahoma. We always shoot for 11:15, 11:30, somewhere in that range. Subscribe at youtube.com/cover3 so you can get that alert, turn your notifications on. And speaking of, I would recommend, if you are not subscribed and you listen to this and enjoy watching it, then go ahead and take care of that and cut your notifications on. Because if we get the kind of response that we're expecting over the next several weeks, we might have something special for subscribers with notifications on.
Ooh.
So keep your eyes peeled for that.
Eat the poop. Eat the poop.
Also,
eat the poop.
Stream us at your favorite bar. How many of y'all are like out at a sports bar on Saturday night, 11:15?
We get great photos of people set up for late night. They've got us on one screen and the late night action on the other. It'll be Kansas State, BYU, and the Cover 3 podcast.
This is the next step. I think this is the next step, right? Put us like, get us on these college bars. We need to reach that younger audience. If you do, and you can prove it, I will draw one of you randomly to give you if we ever get Cover 3 merch that is not terrible, I will buy one and send you a free t-shirt.
That's what better.
I'm not going to buy one of these ones we got
what
now.
better endorsement than you're going to get from Bud Elliott right there. All right. And you can follow him on Twitter at Tom Fernell. You can follow him at Danny Cannell. You can follow him at Bud Elliott 3. You can follow me at Chip_Patterson. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
See y'all.